Welcome. I keep saying welcome. I'm even wearing the same shirt. You're going to see this for at least 3 of the profiles, but I'm here with another top. Biriarr got 10th place at the Carta Magica Regional with his green Goku deck, which he already got 4th place earlier in the season with it, and now he tweaked it up a little bit, and he's here to show it off the changes. Let's see what the hell's going on, and congrats on the top.
Thank you very much. So yeah, when I went into the regional, I'm like, you know what? Kind of feeling lazy. I wanted to play another deck for the regional, but I was waiting for some cards to arrive in the mail. So until I'm like, you know what? I'll just play Green Goku again. I already put like 100+ reps into it. I'm like, why not? Let's just play it again, right? The deck
And it
felt good
just
to
looks
play.
so juiced. Like, that leader looks so fucking sick. Why not? That's something just to
Oh, yeah.
stare at for the 8-hour regional, whatever the hell how long it took.
Exactly. And a big thing with this leader anyways, is it's just a simple leader, no frills, nothing crazy, but it's just a good toolbox. And that's really nice and consistent. And when you're going 7, 8 rounds, 6, 7, 8 rounds, you want consistency, and that's the biggest thing. But yeah, so obviously for those who don't know what the leader does, he top 5 on the front side. He top 5 searches for Namek and Earthling or Sane for less, that's green, and adds it to hand, and he awakens to have the 2-cost Z unison in play. The search is probably the worst part about the leader, in all honesty. Like, the way my list is set up, I've made sure I have enough targets that it usually doesn't whiff, but honestly, you'll still whiff. It is the worst part about the leader. But the awaken condition is an untap one draw when you do go to 6, and then on the awaken side, he becomes a genuine threat. When he attacks, he gets plus 5k for the battle. He has an activate battle, which you can do on both players' turns, which just says very simply, draw 1 and give one of your cards plus 5k for for
Which is nuts.
And
That is
which is
nuts.
absolutely
Where it's just like,
it's
yeah,
insane.
both turns I'm going to draw a card. There's no downside to using this ability at all. It's not like a combo deck where you get on both turns, but you have to lose a card from hand, so you're going just +0.
It's so good. It's such a strong ability. And then it has another auto that is quite relevant in this meta, which is when one of your cards gets blocker, I believe off the Z Unison skills, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. You can put a green battle card from your grave into Z energy. Now, that's already nice. Establishing Z energy for doing nothing is great, but it's very important in this meta because red decks have explosive dance, so you can bait them into like using it early with one of your swings that like rips a card out of hand, and then you do the plus on the unison to get. Then you get that Z energy set up by taking a card from your grave that already was removed by your opponent, put it right there, and then you get another swing with one of your big boys. So it makes things very, very flexible, and it's one of the reasons why I have a very high count of very high base power cards, so they can keep swinging through explosive dance.
Damn. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because you literally don't need to be into attack. Even if the explosive dance your leader, which you're probably not going to swing with your leader until you see the explosive dance, just in case. But yeah, okay, I got my SR here. Oh, I got one in the drop. Let me just charge that one so I get my free swing off it. Like, damn.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's so much value. And then, like, of course, natural things to think about too, with like the leader. He swings 20k. If anything, and they've stomped all my battle card unison swings, I can just go, cool, 20k, activate battle, go to 25, and just leave it at that and be like, yeah, go ahead, deal with it. You got a combo to 30, or you're taking the hit. And if I throw something like an EDK on there, or like, mind you, I'm not running this, but like Feet Kamehameha, I'm not running that personally, but you could and go 40k crit and be like, yeah, you're taking this hit, bud. So there's just a lot of nice flexibility with the leader. You can build them however the heck you want, which is fantastic, right? Like, I want to make it clear, like, the way I built my deck, it's extremely consistent. I want to say, hey, my way or the highway, but it feels very good. But there's so many ways to play with this leader that you could just have fun. Like, go wild. He's just good. It's a very good, simple leader. And then moving on to the actual deck, though. So I did some modifications from my list that I came forth with after the regional that I just played in with Carta for this one. I would not make any more changes to my list personally. It feels very, very good. The losses that I ended up having, in all seriousness, was my own mistakes. It wasn't the deck underperforming. It was me being greedy and doing very stupid plays, which I'll touch on after. But the deck itself, the way the list is set up, to me feels perfect. I would not change anything more. But that being said, the first card we ran was 3 copies of the Green Sun Gohan rare. It's too good in this current meta. Everyone's running Z Unisons now. Vegito X needs the Z Unison to exist, the green Goku mirror if they don't have the TP Gohan, being able to just answer those types of cards is a really big deal. And red Gohanks runs the baby Unison, so being able to like punish bad sequencing where they play baby and let's say they swing with something else, it does actually matter a lot. So you can't not consider this card going forward anymore. And like the only matchup like colors where it's kind of okay to side out against nowadays is honestly maybe yellow and blue. But even blue, I'd still keep a copy because they still run Majin Buu Unison. So this card is still just really good. And sometimes it does come up where you just go tap 2, play it, KO a battle card, and say he can't be removed until the end of your opponent's turn, and you go 25k crit. Like he still does matter.
Yeah, no, that is super good mention on the Boo, right? Because that's the one card. Swing into Boo, combo that, Boo is dead. Like, Boo is dead from one swing. You don't need to worry about the shit going awry. Which, to be fair, with this deck, I know your SR, I think, has a fun time with Boo. Because, like, yeah, you want to bottom deck it? Go for it.
Exactly. So, then that's what I'm saying. It's just all easy value at that point. The next card, obviously, is Paraga Super Combo. I mean, you could run Gohan, but, like, why just run the one that's a raw 10k. It's just better in my opinion because it does come up like it's not often that you're go below four like to 4 life, but we as players are way too greedy. Sometimes just having that 10k combo even if you're not drawing is all you need to survive a very problematic attack, and it does matter. Like it really does matter. And then obviously the draw 2 warp 1 is always good. Like it's the best green super combo, there's no question about it. I ran, so what's coming up now is my package of my cantrips. So I ran a very high package of 1-drop cantrips, which do matter a lot in this deck. I ran 3 copies of the anti-hand control Vegeta, because what's ending up happening is your Z Unison's going to give any card you play, basically in this deck, is going to get blocker off it, and you draw 1, but then the cantrips draw you 1 more. So you're getting a nice, like, net 0, then a hard +1 there. And then they're easy blockers, but also it just makes your sideboarding easier. Like I've stuffed it full of targets for my leader search to not whiff on. And also like when you think about it, green matchups, cool. You don't have to worry about siding in, siding out, and you have easy flex spot against your red and blue matchups. And honestly, even against red now, you can kind of mainboard it because people are running Topo again. But the other thing too, though, is when you face the U7 matchup, which is arguably your hardest matchup, you need to sideboard very well against that and be very careful. But if they go Parunga SCR, you can literally hold these for late game, and they go, oh, we're gonna Parunga, tap one of your energy, make your discard 2, and you'll be like, cool, thanks for the 2 free draws, buddy. I appreciate that. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Keep it ready, keep it in mind. It does make a difference. And then we ran 3 copies of the Gohan TP. I mean, the TP's insane. It's really, really good. You can run 4 copies, but like I felt 3 was just enough. The thing you obviously want to see is you want to see this in your hand early, so when you combo it, you can Z charge it, play your Z Unison, then with your leader skill, you give something else blocker. This goes into your Z energy, because when this is in your Z energy, it says you can warp it to give your Z Unison barrier until the end of your opponent's turn, which means they can't Black Smoke Dragon, because Black Smoke Dragon, when it warps a Unison, does not ignore barrier. So this gives you inherent protection against Black Smoke, and it also is very important against the Gohanks matchup, because they're
minus the
they're
unisons.
15k dudes. Yeah, they can't minus the unisons, exactly. So this gives you that extra layer of protection you need and makes your opponent have to sequence in a more annoying way to remove the unison if they can do that. And like it's just a solid card. Nobody wants to deal with having a unison with barrier, and it does make a difference. Like the green Goku deck with this and without this is a big difference night and day. It's not like you can't play the deck, like you can 100% play the deck without it, but man oh man, when you have this in the deck, the power level just goes up a whole tier. It's way too good. And then we ran 4 copies of the Protecting His Loved One Vegeta, the D Magic Silver Bullet. There's twofold reason. I mean,
barrier
obviously
blocker,
it's nice
baby.
to just exactly barrier blocker.
You're doing Bulma's job,
easy.
like you're what Bulma did with Mai. You're doing that with Vegeta now.
Precisely. And then the other thing too, it's nice is the blue decks. Your siding is super easy, and it's a very easy card for like flex yet again, right? Like the hand control in this makes your side options and the SGR very easy. I've never ran into a headache when I'm trying to sideboard stuff. It's super simple. There's no stress. Like we have enough flex spots here that life is easy. And at the end of the day, like the way you do the sequencing, it isn't always like turn one. You obviously want to play this turn one because it's going to sit there. On your turn two, though, like when you set up your Z Unison play and your Awaken play, sometimes the right call is to give this the blocker, but sometimes it's actually better to give it to the other card that you end up playing instead, and then holding this for a later turn, because they're obviously going to remove that card, but when they remove that card, Unison gets another marker anyways, and then you could set up this one with the blocker on the subsequent turn, and it makes things very awkward for your opponent, because if they waste any resources to remove a one-drop cantrip ignoring bear that just sat there for 3 turns, you don't care. You're laughing at them for doing that. So there's a lot of like weird little nuances, but the card obviously is very good. I ran 4 copies of the Vegeta rare. I think it's what Face Off with the Emperor. This card is broken. I can't believe they printed something like this and only costs 1 energy. It's literally a 1 mana 16k on play KO a battle card of any cost. And you can play this on turn 2 if your leader's Green Goku. So it's not just this deck, any Green Goku. But this is crazy when you think about it. You can have an SCR on board. Yeah, it's gone just on the on play. It's insanity, and it's a 4-drop. So most counterplays are not touching this card, and it's a 16k
16,
base. So
yeah, that was another
counterplays are
annoying
hitting
thing
it.
about it. It's
Yeah.
not even 15, 16. Yeah, there you go.
And
Have
it
fun, Beer's
restands
ball.
at the end of turn. With the Z Unison, it also restands. So like a line of play that I like doing is I'll set up the 1-drop, like the turn 1. I'll combo the Gohan TP. I'll set up my Awaken on turn 2. And then, you know, I'll play the Bardock Unison. I'll swing my leader, do the Activate Battle, whatever. And then we'll swing with the Bardock as well. We'll pay 1, play the Vegeta, swing with Vegeta. And then what I like to do often on turn 2 is give him blocker instead of the 1-drop. And then we draw another card, and then he restands and he's 16k blocker. Your opponent swings, you go, cool, block, go to 21k. What are they going to do? Want to combo 2 cards? They want to go to 25? You don't care. If they go to 25, you either use 1 card or you just laugh at them and be like, cool, you wasted like 2 cards to kill a card I paid 1 for. It already replaces itself no matter what. Very, very strong card. And obviously, it being a 4-drop does matter for our SCR as well. I will also say, obviously I can't fit it in this list because I just can't make the room, but the Piccolo rare from this set is also quite good. I would say if you can squeeze it in, it's a 2 of, at least in my opinion, and it's pretty much the same thing as the Vegeta, except it draws a card on play instead of KOing a card, but it is a very good card. Like, you play that on turn 2, it's probably better than the Vegeta, and then you can hold your Vegeta for like the mid game, late game to snipe more higher priority targets. But I just can't make the room for it. But that is a card to seriously consider. But this Vegeta is just cracked. Like, this is a broken card. The next card is going to be 4 copies of the 4-cost Goku SR. I think it's also called Face Off with the Emperor. This card is absolutely broken. I can't believe they printed something like this in green and it only costs 1. This is such a high value card. And it stuffs so many secret rares in this game. It's actually comedic. Like, you literally 3 or more energy, you activate main, draw 1, play this card. So no matter what, even if they counterplay, you're still getting your draw. It's a 19k base. It says if it's removed from battle area by an opponent's skill, you KO one of their battle cards, and it has an activate battle once per turn, not limit 1, once per turn, where if you have a card with blocker on board, you can restand him and he gets plus 5k for the turn. So depending on how you sequence this, depending on your board state, right? He could be your blocker, and then you swing once with him for 24, activate battle leader, go to 29, and then leave him up as a dual blocker. Or you could be do the more aggressive route, give like the Vegeta barrier card blocker, swing twice with this for 24. And then if your opponent tries to remove it, they're trading a card, and you don't care because this is ready to replace itself, and it's done 2 24k swings or 29 and 24, which is too much pressure. And if you get multiple of these on board, it is actually nightmare fuel for your opponents. You get so many multi-attacks that it is very hard for people to deal with. And there's also other things too when you think about it. Because if it says removed by opponent's skill, certain cards such as the blue Cell Z card, right? The one that absorbs, what'll happen is Cell will absorb this, my auto goes into pending, they take the Goku, but then I get to KO the Cell. And then boom, now they tap 3 to what? Get rid of like what? Some 1-drops and like my weenie 4-drops, like who cares? And then I get rid of their Cell. So now blue just taps 3 and lost like a genuine threat. If blue goes, I'm going to tap 2 for Beast Gohan, and you have this on board, this comes back to your hand and you KO Beast Gohan, which is still really, really bad for blue. If they play the Oob SR and you have this on board, bye-bye Oob. Like, this counters a lot of like cards that blue mainly use, which is kind of funny, but it also does counter a lot of other stuff. Like in the green mirror, like you could hold those Vegetas, for example, and if they pay 4 and play the 8-drop Goku and they kill this, you can kill that Goku and be like, cool, I'll discard my 3 Vegetas and draw, right? Like there's little nuances there, but it's a very, very powerful card. It makes your opponent always have to play super carefully, and if they don't play carefully, you just hard punish them. And like obviously the auto only really matters if it's removed by a skill, right? So a smart way to deal with the card is to just beat it through battle, but it's such a pain in everyone's butt that they're not going to get to that point. Honestly, this card is a jerk, and it just feels good to always play. Like every time you can play, you just play it and you just keep going 24, 24, 24, 24. Or in situations where you need to like dual block, you block for 24, go to 29. They do another swing, you block again, and it's just like, yeah, like you're stuffing every play your opponent does. And if you back it up with a dormant, you go dormant, then block with this, go to 29, and then you block another attack, their turn's done, and they fail to remove this, you're just like, all right, like you're living an easy streak. It's such a very, very high-powered card. It honestly should just be included in every single green deck in the game. It's that good.
Fair enough. High praises. So you're saying that's the best card in your deck?
It arguably is. In all seriousness, it probably is. It's one of the highest performing cards. Next is 3 copies of Ground Shaking Fury. This SR is bonkers. It's absolutely overtuned, but it's also fair at the same time because it doesn't have any actual protection, right? But the fact that it's a ignoring barrier board wipe no matter what, you only need to tap 4 green. You don't have to be at 4 energy. So if you're going second and you have the energy marker, you can play this on turn 3 and just reset the game state. And then you can establish the U full Z extra, and now you're going 35 triple strike, 35 triple strike, and you can just end someone's game right then and there if they're not careful. And of course, the additional benefit of if it's removed, your opponent has to discard 3. There's so many powerful things about this card. And the fact that it also has revenge, the redirect, you can give it blocker with your unison and just leave it up and be like, yeah, go ahead. Now what are you going to do? It really, really, really is a nice flexible card. And the fact that it's a 0-5K is so nice, because something like this you'd expect to be a 1-mana 10K, and it's not. And it's so nice that it doesn't, you have to pay an energy to combo it. And of course, because it's a 35K base, it's that perfect number where if you're under explosive dance, you could always like Z-charge a copy of this to have something else swing, or have another copy of itself attack. It just makes things easy. And yeah, the card's just really, really good. You don't have to play it every game, but when it hits the board, like it draws attention. Your opponent cannot ignore this card. It is too much of a threat. And if you go through a turn cycle where like 1 copy of this survives and you establish a second one, they're done. Like they're not winning. The next package that I ran, and I'm going to call this a package because this is genuinely what it was, is the Fated Rivals package. This is obviously a very high-powered package in the game, right? Obviously, Fated Rival Goku, Fated Rival Piccolo, 3 energy line in play, get rid of a card ignoring bear, get a 30k double striker, then pay 1, play the Piccolo, snipe markers off of unison based on how much energy you have, and you get a 25k dual attack that rips a card per swing. There's so much to love about this package, and the math on it is perfect too, because it's a 6+6 for your SCR as well. But a little like tip I would always do is I would always try to hold off on swing with the Fated Rival Goku right away. I would instead go right into the Fated Rival Piccolo and swing with that first. Because if your opponent goes, I'm going to explosive dance, you're going to be like, cool, go -2 in hand. And then it restands, and then you can go, cool, do the plus on the unison, give something blocker, put something like 30k or 25k into the Z energy, swing again, be like, yeah, swing again for 25, rip another card out of your hand, go another -1 in hand, please. And then I'm going to activate battle, make this a 30k, and I'll draw 1. Go ahead. You going to beat this attack? No? Cool. And then you can always combo with 30k and then swing with the Fated Rival Goku. Or the additional benefit is because you didn't swing the Fated Rival Goku, depending on game state, you could always just leave it up in active mode and give it the blocker. And now you have a 30k barrier blocker double strike, which, yeah, it's a 30k barrier block. Your opponent's not removing that. Like that's just too much. Right?
It's funny that you mentioned that sequence, 'cause that's 100% the way I always play those. Is Goku is whatever. If I can get them down to 2, then I'm swinging with Goku. No, I just want to swing with Piccolo. If they're gonna floodgate me, Piccolo's my first swing. So if they even like a Topo or something, it's just like, okay, you're getting rid of 3 cards from hand. Then I'm winning that exchange. So fine.
Exactly. Exactly. And then on top of that too, even like we said with the topo, right? Like because we mainboard the green Vegetas,
Mm.
oh, you topoed me? Cool, I'll swing again, I'll discard too. Oh look, I just drew two more cards, and you're still gonna lose another card. Like it's a very strong package. I don't know why so many green decks aren't stopped running it. It's strong. Like it is genuinely a very, very good package. And now that Z Unisons are a thing, being able to have another way to remove markers off of Unison is really, really nice. It's just strong overall. I would never sleep on this. And then the next little boss monster we ran was obviously three copies of the Father Son Solidarity. This SR is broken. I don't need to elaborate on this. Like everyone hates facing this card. Everyone knows what this does. Just unga bunga. Like just beat up your opponent with this.
Just
Enough
a
said.
mix
And
of
if
the
a
faded
swing goes
rivals.
through, exactly. And one swing goes through and you go activate battle, you go 40 double strike for doing nothing and you get a draw. Like this is just a perfect card. Like what more can I say? You could maybe go 4 copies, but honestly, you don't need it. You do so much pressure, you don't really need it, but you could. Um and then the next card that I ran, and this is one of the cards that I put in after my 4th place finish because I realized something, which was the Faded Rival package and Father Son Solidarity can only be played when your opponent's at 3 energy, which means if you're going first, you can't play them till turn 4. Where this can be played, the Trunks, I think it's Path to Hopeful Future, it can be played when you're at 3 energy, which means you can play this on curve going first. And there's a few big benefits to this, right? It being a 30k beater that just kills cards ignoring Barrier and Indestructible. It means when you face those blue decks that run the 821Z card and give it Indestructible to Zamasu, those are just gone. It keeps the Goku Black decks in check, which are now going to come back because, spoiler warning, the Goku Black deck is actually pretty good. And obviously, it makes it so you can cast your Z extras for 1 green less, which means you can tap 2 for this and set up a Mighty Blast very early in the game. And now you have another way to KO battle cards and do an EDK snipe on demand. There's just a lot to like about this, but it's also for the Vegito matchup. The Vegito matchup can be an easy matchup if you draw the right cards, but it can also be one of the most terrible matchups out there as well at the same time. So being able to like early game use a Demigras from the sideboard to snipe the barrier blockers is good, but then being able to just swing with this and say, yeah, we're getting rid of your barrier blocker right away and you don't even get to get your draw off of blocking is really, really good. And this forces black to have to dedicate resources to removing it, which, I mean, black decks don't really have too much trouble. They say, oh, we're going to play our Cumber, we'll play our SCR, we'll play our Goku, whatever. But at the end of the day, they're dedicating more resources onto an additional threat on top of everything else that you have. And this just makes it so you stay on curve and stay ahead of the Vegito deck, because if you're removing their unisons, you're removing their barrier blockers, they're going to have to spend their whole turn to reestablish everything, and then you just get rid of it again and again and again and again, and then they eventually will run out of resources and you just outpace them then at that point. This card is very, very good, very slept on card. Do not sleep on this Trunks, people. This card is fantastic. And then we come to my extra card package. So I ran 2 copies of EDK. I mean, Cell's Returning is a broken card. Like, being able to snipe a card of your opponent's hand is always good. And it's very, very nice against Gohanks, for example, because they go, oh, you know, we top 5 searched and we grabbed our Vegito SCR, and you're like, all right, let's do some gambling here. Let's see if we can snipe this out of hand. And you go, yeah, I'm going to call number 7. Lucky number 7. Boom. No, my SCR. Exactly. And, of course, making it so anything gets plus 15k higher that isn't only on battle cards or leader swings, but the 15k boost is big on offense and on defense. And obviously with the leader being able to swing for basically 20, then active battle 25, and then another 15k boost, like you're going 40k and you rip a card of their hand. Even if your opponent tries to combo out, that's bad math for them. And if they take the hit, you don't care. You already ripped a card out of their hand. So they go net 0 in hand, but you still push another damage out. So the card just has too many applications. It's too flexible. You can run Kamehameha instead, but honestly, this being able to give your other your battle cards the 15k boost as well is just too good. Like, you can't ignore that benefit. And then we ran 2 copies of Homicidal Clones. Sometimes you just need to say, yeah, we're just going to get a token negate and get a blocker, and sometimes that just wins you the game. And obviously, we have to respect certain decks like Gohanks where they have the Vegito SCR.
Mm-hmm.
You need to not get sniped by things like that. But on the other hand, you also have to be careful. You got to make sure you time it right because certain decks just will remove the blocker token right away. And it obviously does help you go to 4 life when you need it. It's obviously a good card. And then we ran 4 copies of Uneasing.
Of course.
Card's good. Just hard negate when you need it, or the floodgate when you need it. I don't even care about the floodgate. The fact that it has the hard negate on demand for free is more important to me than anything else. Mainly because we are still running 4 copies of Dormant. So mainly the thing you're gonna do with this deck is you're just gonna keep dormanting your opponent every turn. You dormant, block an attack, and then if it's something really threatening, you hard negate with Uneasing, or you just out combo the next attack and you just don't care. And that's all you do. You dormant them 4 turns straight, and on that 5th turn, you're probably beating your opponent anyways.
Damn,
So the
I just
Uneasing just gives
realized
you
that.
an extra cushion.
You are
Mhm.
only going -1 on your dormant because you're not that battle's
Exactly.
not over. You can use your oh
Mhm,
my
mhm.
god. That's gross. No wonder you can
Yep.
dormant every turn. You're only really losing 1 card each time.
Exactly. And of course, because the cards we discard, we can selectively put them in our Z energy as well. I'll dormant and put a Gohan TP into my grave. Then I'll put in my Z energy and give my Unison Barrier next turn. Or if I know I'm facing red, for example, where they're going to Explosive Dance, I'll put something that I know I'm going to put in there anyway, so that when they E-Dance me, I say, cool, I'm going to keep swinging anyways, right? So there's obviously a lot of applications. And of course, like obviously I'm not doing a super hand control build, but it has made me think about considering things like throwing a copy or two of Ribrianne in. Not for like early game, because early game Ribrianne is trash. If you do early game Ribrianne, you're trolling. But like a later game Ribrianne, and you can always pitch him and use him or things like that, right? But that's more of a super hand control focused build. The fact that we only go -1 is good, and like we have to think about it, right? Uneasing got errata nerfed, and to make it so Green Gohan doesn't get the free draw. And one of the reasons Green Gohan was so strong was that Uneasing replaced itself, right? And this leader basically does that same thing. That thing that got
Yeah.
errated for Green Gohan, now I get for when I use either Uneasing and I, stop another attack and draw, or when I dormant, right? So that same interaction, the leader just does naturally. So unless they errata nerf the leader, which just kills the deck anyways at that point, who cares? So that doesn't matter. And then we ran obviously the one of charismatic villain. It's
Showing off your
charismatic.
SCRs now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's charismatic villain. What more can I say? It's just a good card. Obviously, sniping 7 or less is a big deal. Very, very important against the U7 matchup. If they try to Parunga cheese you and you have the Unison on board and you have this in hand, well, they're rolling a dice. They just have to see if you have that SCR or not. And it's also nice early mid game against Gohanks as well. You just drop this down and it stuffs their plays and you just proceed with your life from there. It's a nice card. And the additional benefit is even though it's a 10k base, because your leader can give anything 5k, you can literally go like 10k with this, activate battle, go 15k. That's one more card out of their hand. Then you go 20k, 15k with Unison, then whatever else you have. So it does have some additional benefits. It actually is a legitimate beater in the deck because your leader can turn it into an actual beater. Otherwise, you just combo into Z charge, you don't care. But it can actually swing and pressure the opponent, which is good. We ran Secret IDs, our Overrealm. Multi-board clear is great. Like, we already have board wipes, but why not have more? And we already have enough like spot removal that gets rid of specified costs like of anything anyways, so might as well just have this to get rid of tokens and all this other weird stuff. And it's also nice against Tapion because if you're pressuring the Tapion deck and making it so you're warping their one-drop Minotias, depending on how you're playing things out, like that actually does kind of deny them a lot. It's very, very good. And then we ran Cell Xeno as our SCR. You can run whatever you want for your SCR, honestly, with this deck. It's too flexible, but this SCR just feels right. Like, I actually had a discussion with one of my friends yesterday about this, and they're like, oh, why don't you run Cell Max or Golden Cooler or all this other stuff? And it's like, well, we have to think about it logically. Late game, we're going to stall our opponent out anyways because we have all these dormants and uneasings. We can go late game, do our heavy hand control, package pressure, and all this other stuff, and then we just drop this and rip the other 3 like hard negates out of their hand and just like go for game anyways, and it's free. But also, if we get your opponent super low in life early, who cares about the quad strike? You can literally just go successor and go 40k single and end them right then and there, right? Like, free is good. Free is free. And that's where things are at, in my opinion, right? I prefer anything that costs nothing. That to me is way better than paying 1 even for something, right? But you have options like Peaceful Resolution's also hilarious. So you can literally go swing 25k with leader with the activate battle and everything. Go feat Kamehameha, go 40k. Peaceful Resolution, tap the 2 energy and make it so your leader's a 50k triple strike crit, and then you dump a little bit on that, and then like you restand your leader and they crit free life and you swing again for lethal. Like there's some cool stuff you can do with a lot of SCRs, but Cell just feels right. That in my opinion, it feels right, at least for how this list is built. And the reason it also works so well is because the math of how I've set things up works out perfectly, right? I have 8 4-drops, and I have 8, and I have 8 8-drops, and I have 3-3 split of 6 drops. So I have the math perfectly set up for when I need to go into Cell Xeno, everything maths out properly, right? If I want to go 8-4, I have the 8-4s. If I want to go 6+6, I got the 6+6. It's just the right math, and I've made sure that it's the right math, right? So the consistency is already done. I don't have to work hard to get it established. Where some lists, it becomes a bit of a nightmare, and sometimes it happens where like we try to like force it to be a thing, and this is just natural. It's just gonna be there either way. And then moving on from that, we have our Z deck. Obviously, we ran 4 copies of the Bardock Z Unison. Card's good. The auto, if your opponent removes one of your blockers by a skill, you gain a marker, which is nice. It catches people off guards. Like, I literally will tell my opponent, this is what it does, and then they still remove it and like, oh, gain a marker? I'm like, bro, I just told you. Like, what? How many times am I going to tell you? Like, I'm not going to remind you every time.
It's true.
Like, it happens. And then it literally just says your leader's green, draw 1 no matter what, and give one of your cards blocker, which is really good off the +0. And then the other +0, honestly, I've done 0 times. I never ran into it, but I can basically pitch a Z energy to make my opponent discard 1, which is nice. It's a 15k base. It's a good beater. We run 4 copies because people, for some reason, have this attraction to getting rid of this card that pluses me a card for free every turn. I don't know why.
No clue. I wouldn't know why.
I know, right? It doesn't make sense, right? But you definitely run 4 copies because people do go heavily out of their way to get rid of this. But you don't care, honestly. If your opponent keeps dedicating a turn to getting rid of this, you're just establishing your board state even better and better, and you're just going to keep pressuring them. If they choose to ignore him to go for your board instead, well, you're just going to keep plussing cards anyways, while they're minusing cards to get rid of your cards that already clear their board without trying. So you don't care. It's a win-win. We ran 1 copy of You Fool. I'm a little iffy on if 1 or 2 is enough, but honestly, 1 feels fine. It still does the you can restand the Goku no matter what anyways. You can do the redirect, which is always handy. The card's just very, very strong. It, like, I don't know what else to say. The card's good. Like, just don't sleep on it, right? We went 1 copy of the Broly SS3 Tyrant. Card is really, really strong. However, in this deck, it's a little bit awkward because a lot of the cards that you could technically, like, you know, if you want to play it optimally, you want to sacrifice your cards. But the problem is that a lot of the cards you use are just very powerful cards. You don't want to sacrifice them. Like, I don't want to sack my Fated Rivals package to get this guy out. I don't want to sack my other guys to get it out. But when you need it in a pinch, this does make the difference. And one of my losses was because I was greedy and did not actually use this card. I'll touch on that in a second. And then we ran 1 copy of the Jiro Z card. It's basically, what do you call it? The Vegeta the Surmounting, but it's got Deflect and Barrier, so it's going to hit the board. You're going to get the life rip draw effect no matter what. So you're good there either way. And, you know, sometimes you just need to be able to see 1-word cards. Sometimes you need to be able to take yourself to 5 life so your token negates live, or to take yourself from 5 to 4 so your super combos are live. Very, very good card. We ran 1 copy of the Jiren Z card. I've honestly never really used the card. I've never really had a situation where I needed it yet. But you want to keep it in there just in case, because at the end of the day, when you play it, it can't be removed. And you can always do the activate main to snipe markers off of Unison. It's better to just have it and not need it than need it and not have it, in all honesty. It's still a good card. Just, I probably would not use it against like red, because they just minus its power. And like, obviously yellow can negate its skills, but the card's just good. Like, it is still a solid card, just probably like one you're not going to use often, maybe 1 in 100 games. We ran 1 copy of the Mighty Blast, really good card. KO's a battle card, 3 or less for free and get the 10k boost, or you get the EDK effect and KO at 5 or less off the ultimate ability. Like, Now you have 3 copies of EDK, and if you do the Trunks play and then we set this up early, like we can do some really cheeky stuff with it. Very, very nice card, very cool interactions with it. And then we ran 1 copy of the Frieza. The Frieza's really, really good. KO's a card. It makes it so all your other beaters rip another card of your opponent's hand, and all you gotta do is pitch a Z energy, which, oh, spoiler warning, your lead already does that for free. You get Z energy anyways. So it adds you additional pressure without actually having to overcommit. It's a very good card. Unfortunately, one of my matches I threw by choosing to play this over that, but that's me being bad than the card being bad. And then the sideboard, pretty straightforward stuff. Koitsukai, I mean, honestly, you can mainboard Koitsukai at this point in this meta. Like every deck plays stuff on each other's turns. It's just a good card. Very OP against Tapion, very OP against Android 21. I will touch on that in a second. Focus Breakthrough is just a good card. A very powerful counterplay. Obviously, you know, it's mostly used for the Tapion matchup, but you could side it in against anything where you know they're going to floodgate you, like Hachiak, where they run Oceanus, or red decks that run Topo. It's obviously a good card there. We ran 3 copies of the Demigra, Heavenly Wizard. This is mainly for the Vegito matchup. You want to see these early because they can technically play their SR on like turn 2, 3 onwards, right? So turn 2 and 3, you just combo these and they get rid of the SR and you're good. Like you're on easy street. Then you don't have to worry about spending actual energy to remove their threats, and then you can use your energy on other stuff, right? We ran 2 copies of Bigamore. This, I mean, you can run this in the Gohanks matchup. You can run this in Green Mirrors. You can run this against Vegito if you want. That's up to you. This is mainly here for one matchup in particular, the U7 matchup, because if they go for the Purunga cheese, you have no out. Green has no out. Other than seeing the charismatic, you don't have an answer to the Purunga cheese. So instead, you have to keep in mind, for them to do the optimal way to Purunga cheese you, they have to tap 3 for Absolute Annihilation Goku. They have to tap 2 for the Purunga SR, and they got to tap 1 for the 6 cause Goku, right? That's a 6 energy line of play. So if they're going first, they got to tap 6 energy total. If they're going second, they only got to tap 5 and use energy marker, right? So what that means is if you're going first against them, going into their turn 5, if they're going second, you just tap 2 and do this. It's better that I tap 2 proactively and make it so they can't kill me with their big threats than for them to tap out my energy and me not be able to do anything. And then if you're going second against them and they're going to their turn 6, you just tap 2 and do this. Like, yeah, obviously it sucks tapping 2, but it's better than losing the game. It just will always be better than losing the game, and your crackback is still good. Like, you can still do strong lines of play with 4 energy. You should still be okay to do enough threats that it doesn't matter. And then if you have another one after that, boom, you do it again, you should win by then. Though. Like, you realistically, if you're playing it when you're playing it right, you should win against U7 anyways by turn 5, turn 6. But this just guarantees that they can't kill you, they can't cheese you, and that's a really, really important thing. You need this. It's so critical against U7. And then we ran 1 copy of Blue Impulse. I personally respect the Jiren matchup. That deck is a powerhouse. I will never sleep on that deck, and I'd rather have this ready for that mainly. But this also is great against Tapion. It's good against anything that plays cards on your turn. But you know for sure, Gohanks, they're running Bunny Girl now. Bunny Girl comes out, boom, you wipe their board. They go for, what do you call it? The Bulma deck, same thing. Tapion, A21. There's a lot of decks that play stuff on your turn now. So having this out and just tapping 1 to do a board wipe for 1 energy, it's a bargain, right? Instead of tapping 4 for the board wipe Goku, tap 1, boom. You wipe their board, you can set up threats. Very, very good card. 2 copies of Hunt to the Demon God. Obviously, the counter, you know, anything that's free. Very important against the Green Mirror. Very important against Blue. Very important against Yellow for Time Magic. And also, it's very, very necessary against the Aegis Gogeta matchup because you need to be able to Spirit Boost 1 and remove this from your grave so that you can remove the skills on their Aegis cards so that you can actually snipe them and get rid of them. It's one of the only ways you have as green other than actually just killing the card through battle. So, you know, you just need this. Don't sleep on it. 2 copies of BMS. This is mainly for Tapion and A21. And yeah, I mean, it's just a good card. You can also use it against Bulma. You can use it against Gohanks, but I would not side this in against Gohanks because they just use frustration from the field and kill it -5k and that's it. But against like other red decks that run Bunny Girl, this is kind of worth running still. But otherwise, you mainly want to use this for the Tapion matchup and Android 21, and that's mainly it. Maybe some weird other niche matchups you can think of, but that's really where it's at. And then we ran 2 copies of Dodoria. Dodoria was kind of a really cool addition that I put into my side. I'm really glad I put it in. It made a lot of matches a lot easier. Super important against Hachiak, obviously. It's really important against Gohank's matchup. It's good against a lot of stuff. Like anything 2 or less just gets sniped, and that makes your life so much easier. The Bardock Floodgate, Repose, you name it, right? And it's also, of course, very important against the Tapion matchup. And the reason too is the problem with like Focus is you can only use it when you're at 4 life or less. But this deck kind of stays at like 6 life for a long time. So being able to like answer certain threats of your opponent doesn't actually happen with this. This is more like a later game card where you can use Doria earlier because you have the Z Unison. So you have that nice little curve where this will help early, and it's of course a 5k combo on board as well. So there's a lot of nice applications. And then that's mainly it for the list itself. Regarding the matchups, I have them all written down. I remember what happened in all the matches anyways, but
All locked and loaded in the dome.
Oh yeah, it's all locked and loaded in the dome. I already jotted everything down.
There we go. Beautiful.
My first matchup was against Janimba Mill. I had won that one.
Always, there's always got to be one. There's always got to be a
yeah. Well, 2 regional straight. I faced Janimba Mill. It was pretty funny. He was a nice guy, very very pleasant gentleman to face. But obviously it's Janimba Mill. Like I just unga. He literally his first mill he hit my SR. I'm like I don't even care. I'm just gonna keep swinging at you. And then when I did my EDK, because I used EDK twice against him. My EDK snipes were huge. I sniped like 1 or 2 Nimbuses out of his hand or something else like that. And like there was a turn where he had to Nimbus the Floodgate, and then I sniped another Nimbus out of his hand, and then I pressured him enough to the point where he had to just flat out hard negate with a Nimbus again, which basically that's 3 Nimbus gone. And then I was able to just keep pressuring and pressuring, doing these big swings to the point where he's like, all right, I got nothing, you got me. Right. And then my next win after that was against Green Goku. So the mirror match. Unfortunately for my opponent, I'm gonna be a little cocky. My build was better, but in all seriousness, he was a very nice guy. He played the deck very well, but I know the matchup too well. I understand the deck like really, really well, and I know where and when I can push in and when I can push out. So it just, that's all there is really to it. And then my third round was against Android 21. I was actually facing Legends on stream. So you can probably catch that match on the Carta stream. And I would say you probably want to watch that because that was actually really cool. My sideboarding stuff was pretty easy. I ended up going second against, which obviously is not ideal against A21, but whatever. I pressured him a bit early. He went down. He was at 4 life early, and then he didn't awaken on my turn, but on his turn he decided to take himself to 3 with his own leader skill. Then he did his awaken stuff and everything. The matchup obviously is annoying because your cards are green and your Z Unison is there, so it pays for the cost of a lot of their cards. But he early on killed my Z Unison, which I think was a big mistake. Because I'm just not going to play my Z Unison for the rest of the game because I only need the 1 to awaken and that's it. I'm not playing anymore after that. You're not getting a free mana rock just because. So I refused to give him that extra resource. But then the big error, unfortunately for Legends, that happened was he decided to play one of the token generators on his awaken turn, like the top 5 searcher, and then he awakened all that stuff. Then he established the double circuit that also creates a token, and he drew 2 more cards, right? And then he had passed to me, and I'm like, okay, so he just produced 2 token generators, and I went, okay, start of my turn, Koitsukai. I swung with something. I think he negated with like an extra card or something like that. I think he demagicked or whatever. And then I swung with leader, went 25k, drew my card, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play BMS and pass turn, right? And at the end of my turn, he had to make 2 tokens, and he had to warp 4 from hand off Koitsukai, and he had to discard 4 from hand off BMS.
Jeez.
But here's the crazy thing: A21 is such a ridiculous deck. Even after the hits, that Legends legitimately he went. I made him discard 8, huh? He literally went from 15 cards in hand to 7. And so he went down to 7 cards in it, which is crazy. Like I'm obviously I made him rip a lot of resources, which obviously that was the big like throw or pressure thing that like helped me out. But even on his crackback, like he was still a threat. He established the 8 drop on the crack like on that subsequent turn, and he wiped my board and everything. He was trying to take me down super low in life, and I kind of had a feeling like I could not afford to take this hit. So he swung for 25k, and I was still at 6 life. He went 25k double strike, and I'm like, I could take this hit and go to 4 and have super combos live. But then what happens is if I do that, and I'm not going to hard negate because I'm not pitching another 2 cards out of hand. I didn't have the Vegetas in hand. If I do that, he'll probably dump on the next swing, take me down to 2 life, or he'll swing leader, then take me to 1 with the 8 drop by dumping on that swing, and then the next turn he just burns me. He'll just floodgate me and burn me. So like I can't let him do that type of line of play. So I went activate battle, go to 20, then just raw 10k off the Paragus, and I went to 30. I don't care about the draw 2. I'll stay at 6 life. And then he tried to swing leader and push me down to 5 life so that he can go, like the 5 to 3. But yet again, I'm like, cool, I'll just combo card out of hand and not, because he just went 15k. He didn't actually pressure on that one. Went cool, I go 20k off of a card out of hand, and we deny you that one. And then he went, okay, I'm gonna go 25 double strike again. I'm like, okay, sure. I'll let you take me from 6 to 4 now, because that was your last swing. Don't care. And then I obviously, on the crackback, I set up Faded Rivals. I pressured a bunch of his stuff, and then I ended up having to pass because he floodgated me. He tried to do some stuff on the crackback. He played another one of the token generators to draw more cards, the double striker, and then I believe I floodgated him, or maybe I did, maybe I don't remember 100% on that one. And then
It's on the VOD, right? They'll be able to see.
yeah,
if
it's
you
on the
did or
VOD
not.
pretty much. Exactly. And then on the last turn, I basically set up another Koitsukai. I swung with my Faded Rivals that I'd already established, and he played the full power counter. I'm like, cool, don't really care. I was careful to build a lot of Z energy because I knew full power counter is obviously going to be used against me. And I basically set up the father-son duo, swung with that, and then he defending friended. He ended up having to warp 2 cards out of hand from defending friends. Obviously, I'm paying the tax for the full power counter, but I don't really care. I played a 4-drop Goku, drew a card that drew me into the Silver Bullet Vegeta. I played the Silver Bullet Vegeta so he couldn't D-Magic untap energy, because he already used the Sparking D-Magic earlier. And I went, okay, I'm just going to go sell Xeno, and I went 3-5-7, and I ripped out more. I ripped out his Mafuba, another hard negate, I think, and a 10k combo. No, I ripped out Mafuba, a super combo, and something else. And I just swung in, I paid the taxes, and he's like, yeah, you got me, bro. Like, very, 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 very crazy game. And then round 4, I lost against Alejandro Torres, the guy who would come second in the Top Cut regional prior to the Carta ones, like 2-3 regionals, I guess now. He was playing Yellow U7. I completely forgot that he had come second using the UR number 1 build for U7 Goku. So my mistake, because I was like, I'm not scared of the U7 matchup, but my error was my first 2 turns, I charged an uneasing and a dormant, not thinking at all about Yano. I was thinking about the late game, and on his curve, he just Yano cheesed me. And I mean, it is what it is. He got me good, no problem. But me personally, going forward, I'm never going to fall for that again. It's never going to happen. Like, I'm going to make sure
He said it
going
here.
forward, I'm always going to have the defense. Yeah, and it's not happening. Nobody's getting me again with that type of cheese. It's not happening, but like...
You just put a bounty on your head right now.
By all means, bring it on. And then my next loss... so next round I lost against Vegito Zeno. It was to a gentleman by the name of Carl. Not our Carl, but another Carl. He's actually friends with Jerry, or at least at his locals. And he ended up coming 4th with Vegito Zeno. So he did great, obviously. So congratulations to him. I had full control of the match, and I threw. Basically, I saw 3 Dodorias, I saw 3 SGRs, and the turn when I could have killed him, he basically had tapped out, and I had 2 energy up, but I had no actual plays left in hand, just combo power cards. And I had a secret ID in him, but only 4 cards in grave. And I had Faded Rivals on board, but they're already in rest mode because I think he petrified, he did some sparking negates, whatever, right? And I'm like, okay, so what do I do here? Instead of being a smart person, because I was being greedy was my issue.
Okay.
Instead of me going, cool, I'll just pay 1 for Broly and sack one of the Faded Rivals which will get me the 6 cards engraved needed for a secret ID, and then I can sack the other one. I wanted to greed and see if I could find Celzino. So instead of being pay 1 for Broly and then whatever and swing with it and force him to token negate or sparking negate, then play secret ID, I went, yeah, let's play Frieza instead, who only costs 1 Z energy instead of 2. So I didn't have the cards engraved needed to establish secret ID. Then I swung and he went sparking negate, and I'm like, oh wait, I screwed up here. I can't overwhelm. Oh no, I just tapped out. And I'm facing black deck going into turn 5, 6. Oh shit, I threw.
Damn.
So that was my mistake there. Don't be greedy, people. Just don't be stupid. That's my best advice to give there. Because obviously if I do this and he sparking negates, we don't care, because then he's completely out of defense. I can overwhelm secret ID and I can just... And I had like 2, 3 super go. I go boom, 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 and just go for game right then and there instead, right? And potentially draw on 2 other threats, and I'd still have 1 more energy up. So if I drew into like the 4-drop Goku or the Vegeta or something like that, I could also establish that and swing with that too for threat. So that was like my main, like that was my big throw there, and I had full control of the game in my opinion. He might disagree, but in my opinion, at least, I felt I had control, and I threw it away. And obviously, kudos to him. He capitalized on my greed, and he hard punished me. So either way, obviously, very happy for him that he came forth. Very, very good job by him, in all seriousness. And then my next round after that was against a Hachiyak, and that was just a straightforward game. The Goku deck kind of destroys Hatchick because you have a Z unit that keeps drawing you cards and pressures. Your leader swings for 25k, which is an above average number. You have multi-attackers left and right. Obviously, if you can establish a Faded Rivals and they don't petrify it, and you're going to multi-attack with that, and then you're going to swing with the Father-Son Solidarity. You can swing with your 8-drop Triple Striker that restands, right? You have so many multi-attackers, it's hard for them to function. You have the 4-drop Goku, which you can literally just block their leader swing with, because their leader swings for 20k. So you can go block with it, restand, go to 29. If they swing with something else, you stop that too. And the new builds for Hachiyak are super duper reliant on the Z Unison, and you just don't side out the SGRs. You keep them in, and they can't function as a deck, and you just pressure them too hard, and you just win. And then my final round was against Hachiyak again, and I was facing Ivo.
Double hatch, damn.
Double hatch, yeah. And I want to say this. I want to make this very clear. When people say Ivo is the best Hachiyak player, after facing him, because I also do play Hachiyak, I can say with full confidence, yes, he is definitely the best Hachiyak player. I don't care what anyone says. The way he was playing, because I've practiced against Hachiyak. Like, I did make sure to get reps against that deck because I respect the deck, unlike other people. So, like, the first one I faced, I knew exactly what I'm doing. Like, it played out exactly how I knew. Against him, it took me till turn, like, 7 or 8 to beat him. Like, I got him, but he made me work for it. Like, really, like, it was not a cakewalk. Like, the matchup is usually just, it's easy street. You don't really care. It's a snooze fest. Like, how easy it is to win that matchup. Against him, that was one of the toughest games against Hatchick I've ever had. But obviously, I got it anyways. But absolute beast. Like shout out to him. Very, very strong player. Like, when they say he's the best hatch, he's the best hatch. Like, there's no question about it. But either way, all said and done, I ended up coming 10th place with the list. The list feels perfectly good. I'm very happy with the list. And like I said earlier, it wasn't the list that let me down. I let me down. My losses were my own decisions that I made and my own mistakes. I got Yano cheesed because I got greedy and didn't respect the Yano cheese. And I charged extra card negates that I needed that would have been free and could have stopped the Yano cheese anyways. And I also threw, of course, against the Vegito, where I just got greedy and wanted to cheese into Celzino when all I need to do is just dump for a swing and win. And like that's my errors there. But either way, the list feels fantastic. I strongly recommend try it out. I'm not saying you have to copy my list all the way, go off your budget, whatever, but try it out, see how you like it, make adjustments, make changes. It's a toolbox leader. Do what you want with it. Toolbox leaders are great for that reason. You just get to have fun with it. You want to go hand control, go hand control. You want to go crit, go crit. You want to go unga bunga big numbers, go unga. You want to go multicolor, bro, by all means go multicolor. You want to run the the Sane Showdown Ape engine, bro, by all means. Like, there's a lot of cool ways to play this deck. and you just got to do it. It's a generic leader. You are the one who has to make the deck good. The deck doesn't, it itself does not make it good. You have to choose the options to make it good, and just go off of that. That's all you got to do. But yeah, that's all I got.
Amen. Perfectly said. Well, congrats on the 10th as well. How much different was your 4th place deck, like, you think, from here?
In terms of the deck itself, the main deck, I only changed like 3 cards. I bumped it up to 54. I took out the coolers because they were absolutely useless, and I put in the trunkses, and I added in the overrealm. But in my sideboard, there was a lot of changes that I did that ended up being the right call. Adding in the Dodorias, going to 3 of the Demigras. There's something else too, but I think I cut one of the blue impulses to make room for some other stuff. But overall, the sideboard changes were the big thing, and the sideboard in this meta matters a lot, and that was the big one.
No, awesome. Well, thanks for showing off the deck and going in depth with everything. So, anybody that's looking to play Goku, here's your list. That's basically what you're saying, right?
Yep, exactly.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. Congrats, and for everyone watching, I'll see you guys in hell.